On a choisi de développer une stratégie de différenciation basée sur l'innovation et le développement durable pour aller chercher plus loin de la valeur et exporter plus loin nos produits.
I feel like I'm at a TED Talk and I should be like jumping on stage like, hey, welcome to VitaFoods after a video. So I'm going to dial it down. I'm Heather Granato and I'm the head of content at VitaFoods. And welcome to Geneva. Welcome to our online audience for VitaFoods Europe. We're here today for a presentation by Ingredia. Wenxian Sun is our speaker today, and I am going to turn things over to her.
Thank you, Heather. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today, and welcome on the conference of Micellar Casein, the partner of healthy aging. So my name is Sun Wenqian. I'm so glad to see you here today, and I work at Ingredia and R&D, and I'm focusing on developing high-protein products in nutrition and providing technical support. Ingredia is an international showcase of French know-how and the quality of French agriculture. Located in northern France, Ingredia has a worldwide presence in the whole world thanks to its partners, production sites, and subsidiaries. And we produce innovative dairy ingredients dedicated to the food, nutrition, and health industries. And Ingredia is constantly innovating and enhancing its range of dairy ingredients. For today's presentation, I will firstly speak about the marketing data on health aging, and then for the nutritional needs and the ingredient solution, and give you a conclusion. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me at the end of presentation. So in this first part, we'll start with an overview on the current situation on oral nutritional supplements, and then we'll see about the trends and challenges in the development of high-protein oral nutritional supplements. In France, 1 in 5 people are aged 65 years and older. Today, 125 billion people are aged 80 years or older. And by 2050, this age group is expected to be 434 billion people. So that means that there will have 3 times more the population compared to the current situation. So what happens when we age and what can we do? Aging is associated with a decrease in appetite and a slowing of gastric emptying. And sarcopenia is defined as an involuntary age-related loss of skeletal muscle masses, reduction and function. And the muscle mass reduces approximately 3 to 8% per decade after the age of 30. And this rate of decline is even higher after the age of 60. Moreover, osteopenia is commonly seen in the people over 50 that have a lower than average bone density, and having osteopenia can increase your chance of developing osteoporosis. Furthermore, aging is associated with a reduced muscle protein synthetic response to food intake termed anabolic resistance. And what can we do? Getting adequate protein, maintaining good ability, and preventing malnutrition. In France, 2 million people are undernourished, and undernutrition is a deficiency of calories or of one or more essential nutrients, such as proteins, vitamins, and minerals. For undernourished population, it's necessary to take additional supplements, and foods for special medical purpose are used. They are taken either orally or given by tube feeds. High energy and high protein oral nutritional supplements are sterile liquid, semi-solid, or powders. In terms of protein intake, you can find up to 29 grams of proteins in 200 milliliters medical drinks, and up to 14 grams proteins in a dessert of 125 grams proteins. And the clinical nutrition market is estimated to be at $51.8 billion United States dollars last year, with a growth rate at 7.1% from 2018 to 2023. Developing oral nutrition supplements are very challenging. On the one hand, loss of smells and taste in old age can lead to loss of appetite, and seniors want healthy, convenient, and tasty food. And on the other hand, manufacturers need to respect local regulation, and they need to understand the complexity of the environment, the ingredient reactions, and so they need to use high-quality functional ingredients and optimize the process to ensure the product stability and to get the desired texture. And adults and elderly in good health, they need 0.83 gram per kilogram proteins and 1 to 2 gram per kilogram per day protein intake for muscle building and recovery. And 1,200 milligrams calcium is needed to strengthen the bones. And 2 to 3 grams leucine is needed per day to trigger muscle synthesis. To meet the specific needs of aging bodies, it is recommended to increase protein intake and physical activities to increase your muscle strength and physical abilities. So now let's see ingredient solution with 2 adapted ingredients and concepts. The first ingredient is a milk proteins for creamy dessert named Product Creamy. Product Creamy is a native micellar casein, contains over 87% of proteins on dry matter. The ratio of micellar casein and weight is 92% and 8%. It will give you a milky taste, and it's stable for UHT, ultra high temperature processing, high protein, high calorie, creamy desserts. It is suitable for clinical nutrition, and the ingredient is rich in brain-trained amino acid. It contains all the essential amino acid, which cannot be synthesized by the bodies, and it contains micellar calcium. And I'm very glad to introduce you this new example of application that we developed this year on creamy dessert named Revive Up. So Revive Up is a high protein and high calorie creamy dessert for people suffering from undernutrition. It is rich in proteins and some minerals such as calcium, phosphorus, and iron. And according to medical recommendation to the age and the nutritional needs, people can take 1 pot of 125 grams per day. And for each serving, Revive Up can provide you 205 kilocalories and 17 grams of proteins. And Product Creamy is used in this formulation. And no off-nut, no aftertaste, and pleasant odors are expected for high-protein, high-calorie creamy dessert. 30 people participate in our sensory analysis that we compare our solution versus a commercialized high-protein, high-calorie creamy dessert that is highly appreciated. So the yellow line is our Revive Up, and the black line is a commercialized product. And you can see from the radar chart that before tasting, there's no presence of cineras for both two products, and Revive Up smells better. And what's more, Revive Up presents limited protein taste, astringency, and aftertaste, just like the commercialized creamy dessert, while preventing more protein intake. So this concept is developed in partnership with flavor designer Food at Home and high-value mineral salts, Dr. Paul Lohman. The second ingredient that we are going to introduce is product feed, a micellar casein for high-protein drinks. Product feed is a native micellar casein which helps you to reduce viscosity in high-protein drinks. It is suitable for clinical nutrition, especially for oral nutrition supplements. It is stable for sterilized, high-protein, high-calorie drinks. And here is an example on healthy aging. So the name is Move Up. And Move Up is a caramel-flavored, high-protein and high-calorie beverage for the prevention of sarcopenia and osteopenia. It is rich in proteins and calcium. So for each bottles of 200 milliliters, it will provide you 316 kilocalories and 20 grams of proteins. Consumers, they are not only looking for to meet their nutritional needs, but they also want compliance, right texture, and taste of indulgence. So we have 31 people participate in sensory analysis that we compare Move Up and a commercialized high-protein, high-calorie drink that is highly appreciated. So the red line is Move Up and black line is commercialized product. And we can see from the figure that before tasting, the two drinks show similar pleasant odor and absence of particles. And what's more, Move Up provides not powdery but a creamy texture with a good fluidity profile, just like the commercialized high-protein, high-calorie drink. So now we will see the structure and functionality of our micellar calcium. Manufacturing process impacts the functionality on proteins and its structure. Casein micelle is obtained by microfiltration membrane, and calcium caseinate is obtained by acidification. And according to Gallagher-Galish, the model of casein micelles are power structure that are made up of a matrix of calcium molecules stabilized by calcium phosphate nanoclusters. And the image are shared by Han University microscopy platform that we can see the structure of our casein micelles and calcium caseinate from other suppliers. And you can see that the image on calcium caseinate present a more disordered structure. And when we see the image at higher magnitude, we can find that the structure of our casein micellar is in accordance with the current published model. So product range protein preserve its native form compared to caseinate. And how to use milk proteins to produce high-protein creamy dessert and puddings. So now we are going to show you a video for the demonstration edited with our marketing team. Hopefully you appreciate this demonstration. So this video will be available on YouTube channel on Ingredient Diary Expert. And we are glad to answer further questions on manufacturing process. And in the last part, we will share some data on the functionality comparison into application, beverage, and creamy dessert. So different protein sources are used in high protein product: milk protein isolate, Micellar casein isolate, caseinate, and pea protein isolate. And so we tested these proteins with our end protein product feed in a beverage providing 8% of fat, 12% of carbohydrate, and 10% proteins. Viscosity and solubility are measured after heat treatment, and lower viscosity and good solubility are expected for the high protein drink. And you can see from the figures that product 3 provides an excellent fluidity and a good solubility compared to other proteins. As for creamy dessert, we tested milk protein isolate, Micellar casein isolate, caseinate, pea protein isolate, and product creamy in a creamy dessert, providing 8% of fat, 15% of carbohydrate, and 14% of proteins. So the concentration of the macronutrients is relatively very high, and the firmness is measured after heat treatment at lab scales. And you can see that the samples with the first 2 proteins, they will give a more liquid texture after heat treatment. However, the samples with milk protein isolate doesn't pass through ultra high temperature processing at pilot scales, and the plug-in machine is not designed. As for pea protein isolate, you can see that the texture is too thick after rehydration. So pea protein is interesting for sports nutrition and for enteral nutrition, but it will be limited to develop for a higher protein concentration in oral nutrition supplements. And what is very interesting for product creamy is that it will provide a good thickness after sterilization, and the texture is not very sticky. And if you compare the textures with a creamy dessert at 14% proteins with this ingredient to a creamy dessert with lower percentage of proteins, the texture is very similar. So product creamy allows you to concentrate more nutrients in a limited volume. To conclude, nutrition and exercise are very important for healthy aging, and tasty oral nutrition supplements are in high demand. Milk proteins are used for food for special medical purpose. And to meet specific needs of undernourished seniors and elderlies, industries are looking for solutions to maximize nutrients in minimum volume to bring more protein and energy intake. And ingredients propose solutions for protein drink and creamy dessert, which are product feed and product creamy. Thanks for your attention, and please come to visit our booth at G100 for further discussion and tasting. So that's all for the presentation. Are there any comments and questions?
Okay, we have a question over here.
Thank you for the presentation. I just have a question regarding EFSA claims for your products. Is it any pending or already approved claims for the Europe regulation?
Actually, it's the prototype. It's the concept that we developed. So we don't have yet the health claim, but
I mean for the minerals such as calcium, iron, and so on, that is in the product, right? So based on those minerals, does the finished product has any EFSA claims that can be used furthermore, for example, for USPs?
you mean for the minerals
Yes.
claims?
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, we follow the FSMP regulation to have the minimum content for the minerals.
So it can be based, I mean, the finished products I mean, for example, if I wanted your product, right?
Yeah.
I can use the claims that are related to minerals and can be used for the finished product.
Yes, actually, yeah, the proteins bring naturally the minerals, and we
Yeah.
add the additional minerals to follow the regulation. Yes, in Europe. So.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right, and you said that was booth G100, I think I saw out there?
Yeah, G100.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you for the presentation, and our next session will start at noon. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Yeah. So actually, if you are looking for some dessert after your lunch because it's noon, you can also join the tasting center to taste our creamy dessert at P300. Thank you.
Thank you.